Welcome to the Designated Drinkers Podcast. Sit back and enjoy the ride.
So you can shut the fuck up, you punk ass bitch!
Watch your profanity.
Let's start the podcast, but that's a good thing
So-
at the end. Oh god, that's so great. I recently had this fucking experiment, and not a lot of places. Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's
I
terrible.
can't. I think I could go to Peru with the money I have in my bank account right
Ashley just texted question mark.
I was-
You sent it to me and Ashley.
I was looking at because the wife wanted to go to Disney World, and I
she a grown
I'm
woman?
cool with that, but I'm like, dude, that's a lot of fucking I don't know if you guys have ever
It's a
looked
waste
it up.
of
That's
money.
the vacation.
Oh my god!
It's
I was
a
like, wait,
waste.
That's a lot of
for
money.
one day, just for us to go. No fucking no, we're not staying over at a resort or anything like that. I'm like $500 just for us to go.
Dude, me and my parents went
I
there
was
when
like-
I was in middle school.
Yeah.
It's expensive as
Think,
shit.
think about it. Caitlin's not even gonna remember it.
Exactly, and she's the only one that's really all about some fucking Mickey right now.
I
I'm like,
hardly remember it, and I was in middle school.
yeah,
I just remember that the rides were kind of shitty.
I have no. I was
think
like,
no, I don't
look,
know, man.
Back then they were, because they still had, they had some decent rides, but Cedar Point's rides are way better than
Listen.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
Disney World.
The Disney is for the parents. It's not for the kid.
I want to go to
It's-
Orlando for the Orlando Studios. What's it called?
I want to go to
Universal?
Universal Studios.
Universal, I love
Epcot,
Universal.
Universal.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
Harry Potter
But
experience.
those are those are adult shit. But I also think that
I want to go
Disney
to
is
Miami
adult
for the
shit.
cocaine, the adult shit down there.
Yeah, I want to Scarface
cocaine
it up.
and big booty,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to the bathroom for an adult
Cuban
shit.
booty,
Yeah. You think I'm your fucking friend?
dude.
Say
Dude,
hello
can we
to
talk
my
about
little friend.
the fact that Al Pacino literally did the worst Cuban impression in the world, but it was such a good movie?
You,
I mean, I don't know. I'm like, how do you feel about his Cuban impression?
I don't think I've ever seen Scarface.
What?
Oh, you should watch
We
Scarface.
talked about this on the podcast.
I've only
already.
Oh,
seen
yeah, we
about
have.
17 minutes of it. I YouTubed the greatest parts of it, and I was like, oh, this is a great movie. And I didn't.
It's a really good movie. It's just his fake Cuban accent is so bad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I was listening to a podcast, or I was talking to somebody. I don't remember. All I know is there was a moment when somebody said, "Clean your face. You look like you were hanging out at the glory hole next to the BP." And I think that is the best quote in the world.
That was the
In
Diary
the
of
BP
Tom's
bathroom.
Life, Part 1.
Your mouth looks like the glory hole that's in the BP bathroom or something.
Have you been looking at my search history on Pornhub?
Totally, man. Glory holes are weird, right? I'm
Yeah.
not the only one that thinks they're not weird.
What-
They're weird, right?
So,
It's like, what's this hole in the wall? Oh,
What-
a dick.
Yeah.
I guess I'll suck on it.
I guess I can understand it from a if you're because you have the gay centers, they're tapping their feet and doing all that stuff. But as a woman, that you can pretty much just, I don't care what you look like,
We haven't
right?
done
As a woman, 99% of the time, if you just walk up to some dude and you're like, I'm gonna suck your dick, there's a glory hole, right? He's taking it out.
Oh, hey guys! Thank you for joining the Designated Drinkers podcast. My name is Carlo.
Angelo, that's talking about dicks.
Nick.
Tom,
We are the Designated Drinkers. Thanks for joining us.
we haven't proved the fact that Nick talks exactly like Ruxin.
No, I think
I don't
we
think he
have.
does.
No, I don't think he talks like Ruxin, but I do think that the fact that he was so overtly depressed about the Huffy is proof that
Dude, that was
he's Ruxin.
That was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was like 2
No,
weeks
this
ago.
is gonna be the episode that's gonna come out before all.
Oh, so now you just ruined
Oh,
it.
all right. So my bad. Spoiler alert. Nick is really upset about some shit. .com.
Say, Nick,
/org.
Nick, say, my name's Rodney, but everybody calls me Ruxin.
Just in my normal voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My name is Rodney, but everybody calls me Ruxin.
No, that is pretty good. That is pretty good.
Hey, hang on. I have to.
I
pull
gotta
this
go.
Up.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna go?
Not right now, but in a little bit. That was probably a little over dramatic, but
I think he's
whatever.
gonna go take a shit.
Go fuck yourself. No, I just peed. I'm all good. If I
I'm so confused.
I don't know if I've ever taken a shit in your house, Carlo, and that kind of upsets me.
I've thrown up in your house.
I haven't done that either. Which
I've
I hope I never do that.
Actually,
because
I haven't
it's a-
done that at this house. I've taken a shit at this house. I
God-
threw up at your old house.
Goddamn, you were close though. There was one night you were fucking close.
Was that the night that I fell asleep on the front lawn?
No, that was the night that like I was here for some reason. I don't remember. Maybe 2 Halloweens ago or something like that. And Nicole's like, I was like, "What the fuck's Tom?" He's like, "He's passed out in the bedroom and he ain't getting up." I was like,
Yeah, that was the party when I fell asleep on the front lawn.
"Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there."
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't there for that. I was like talking to Nicole and she's like, "Yeah, he's done." I was like, "Son of a bitch." Oh, it was Carlos' birthday.
Oh, yeah, because I fell
Yeah.
asleep in the lawn and shit. Because I started drinking before Nicole got here.
Yeah, that was amazing because we were playing.
I was double fisting, and then I drink a beer, and then I drink a Smirnoff, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
hydrating.
I remember you like, I was like, "Why are you drinking all those wicked, twisted fucking teas or whatever?"
Here
And
it
you're
is.
like,
Here it is.
"Yeah."
I'm hydrating.
Hang on.
$2.99 for 3 pounds of horse meat. There's a reasonable expectation that your colon's going to implode. That's good. What's your name? Ruxin, sir. No, it's not. Well, it's Rodney, but everybody calls me Ruxin. Skippy. You're Skippy.
That sounds just like you.
Nick's new name is Skippy.
Oh, come on.
That sounded
No,
just like you.
You sound 100% like him.
Yeah, but I don't want to be called Skippy.
Well,
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's-
you don't get a choice in the
That's
matter.
fine, Skippy. Dude, Joe, Joe got a haircut, and it's slick. I was like, Joe, that haircut's good on you.
He looked like a very, very like a respectable scholarly terrorist.
I looked at him, and I was like, yeah, man, it's weird. Like, I feel like your name shouldn't be Joe anymore. It should be like Chad, or like
Ahmed.
No, I said Dash. And he's like, oh, I like that. I was like, or like Chad, or like, yeah, or something like that. He's like, I like Dash. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, Chad. He's like, oh no, don't do that.
And then you're like, what you need to do is you just need to walk into every room and be like, hi, my name's Chad, and I'm here to fuck your wife.
Tyrone. My name's Tyrone. Fuck
mean-
this nigga. I'm here to fuck your wife.
Please cut some of that.
Why cut it? It was an actual representation of what that guy says in the YouTube video.
Yeah, it wasn't a hard
And
ER.
nobody knows
Sure.
that I'm not black.
I
I
mean,
mean,
now they do.
now they do. Sure.
I may or may not be black as fuck. From the waist down.
Mostly his credit
.com.
score.
Okay.
Definitely the credit score.
But so as we were driving, I was like, "Yeah, Chad, I just don't see it." He's like, "No, let's not do this. I don't like that name." Like, it doesn't matter, Chad.
I have a buddy that his name is actually Carlos. He's Colombian dude.
Racist.
And we call him Ponch. Right?
no, that's
Racist.
racist.
Yeah, that's racist as fuck. But he's married to this white girl now. And he like slicks his hair to the side, and he's a fucking cop now. So my wife started calling him Fireman Chet.
Fireman Chet. That's hilarious.
So that's his new name. Every time I'm like, "Hey, Punch said what's up." She's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Fireman Chet." She's like, "Oh, I love that guy." Like,
So you're talking to your wife, and I remember we were playing Xbox on Thursday or something, and Angelo was talking to his kid. And he was explaining a word, and I was like, actually, I think a better description of that word is this. And he's like, oh, Carlos is this. And his daughter goes like, how does he know more, how does he know more English than you or something like that? And I look at him, he goes, oh, well, he's learned man or whatever. And I'm like, that's racist, man. She racist. Tell her that. And he's like, Carlos says you're racist. She's like, how? He's like, you'll get it later.
so the way it went, I can't remember the word, but
Exploit.
exploit. Yeah. So like, I just got done telling her how Carlo, because she was talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I said, oh, my buddy Carlo actually learned how to speak English by reading the Harry Potter books. And she's like, how does that even work? I was like, well, he's a fucking smart dude. Like, he just figured it out. I don't know how the fuck it happened. And then she came up and she's like, oh, well, exploit. And I gave her what I thought my definition was. And I was like, actually, it's like kind of like this. I was like, hey, Carlos says it's this, and he just like recently learned English, so he knows better than I do. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And like she said all that shit. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was trying to give Carlos some props, and then my daughter called me racist. And
No, I called her racist. So she's like, "How does he know more English than you then?" And he's like, "He's just a smart guy or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't know about that, but tell her she's racist for saying that."
You know how many times my daughter's like, "You're racist," or "You're sexist," or blah blah blah. I'm like,
And then
I am none of the above. You're just a fucking moron,
Bro,
then
you need to get out. You
yeah.
need to get out of that house. There's way
After-
too much estrogen in there.
After
Oh my
I
God, you
said
have
that,
no clue.
we were playing Wildlands, Costa Rican Wildlands, which takes place in Bolivia.
and we're killing Bolivians.
So after I said that's racist, I walked up to a couple like migrant workers. I was like, "Hey, you guys want trabajo? Trabajo? You guys want some trabajo? Get in my truck." And he's cracking up, and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it." I just thought that was a really funny moment.
Speaking of which, great fucking
Great game.
Tom. You
Great
might want to
fucking game.
get that. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's all good,
just fucking
whatever.
get in that bandwagon now, bitch.
Well, I'm just saying.
You're making
I
all this
played that
money,
game
bro.
before you guys.
You're making all this money.
All that overtime, bitch. Wildlands. It
Yeah,
up.
buy it, man.
Yeah. Okay.
We need a third
Making all
man
that
to the
moolah.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We're trying to kill Predator here.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm probably
Right?
gonna be hooked on fucking Red Dead for a while.
Yeah, you're
Oh
gonna
my
suck a
god.
bunch
Here
of
he
dicks,
goes
what
with
you're gonna
that
do.
fucking. I want.
You got Red Dead forever.
Whatever.
You know, there's a finite amount of time that we all play video games as a whole. And,
Yeah, and by the time that I buy it, you guys are gonna be like, I don't want to
Hey,
play
no,
this
no,
anymore.
no. Let's talk
The-
because Tom and I talk about this a lot.
what?
The sanctity.
Of game night, and you motherfuckers never hop on.
Tom and I
I've
are
been up and
always
up.
on there. We're always on there, no matter what. Rain, shine, wife bitching, or whatever. We're there, and we're probably gonna wind up sitting at a bar when we're all
Divorced.
Well, I'll be like 52. He'll be like 41. But we're gonna be divorced, sitting at the bar, and you're gonna be there with your happy marriage, talking about I can't play today. Me and Tom are gonna be over there like, yeah, fucking.
Sanctity
Yeah.
of game night, goddamn
Call
it.
of Duty 72. We're still playing.
Dude, I'll be playing. Apparently, my credit score just went up. I just got an email from Credit Karma. They're like, "Hey, your credit score went up.
Congratulations.
Thank you by 8 points."
All right,
Wow.
Whitey.
Hey, yes. Your people have taught me a couple of things in my life, and one of them was check your credit score once in a while. Make sure no one's stealing your identity.
Rodney, why are you so quiet on this one?
Oh, I don't play video games.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And
what?
that's all we've been
I
talking
love
about.
how he
whoa,
just
whoa, whoa,
ignored
whoa.
the fact that I called him Rodney.
Nick sits at
Hold on.
home.
You looked right at me. I couldn't.
Nick sits at home and looks at his baby and goes, "Hey, what's up?"
The
how he
last
does.
I just look at him. I don't play with him. I don't like
not
feed
at
him
all.
or anything. I
Like
just look
you
at him.
pass by him, you walk and you look at him. You're like, "Oh, hey, you're still there," and you keep keep walking. It's like you walk back out and you're like, "Wait, you didn't move?"
Can we talk about the fact that Nick was talking? You guys were talking about that play that him and his wife had tickets for, and he's like, "Yeah," and then Chloe had to give birth that day.
No, that's not how he said it. So Nick was telling me about the fact that him and his wife got tickets. Finally got tickets to see what's his name.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh
my god!
Yeah, they got tickets to go see him. You were saying that the website was having issues or whatever. What happened?
Oh, it was just like he's so popular that I couldn't buy tickets on the website because the website was down because everybody was trying to buy tickets like that moment. So I had to call the theater to buy tickets over the phone, and I was on hold for 25 minutes waiting for somebody to pick up. And then finally when they picked up, tickets, mind you, went on sale like an hour before. And then when she picked up, I asked for 2 tickets together, and she's like, well, we only have 2 pairs of those left, and grand total in the theater, we only have 8 seats left. I was like, okay, well, give me the closest 2 seats that are together.
Right.
And by the time I got those, it was like they were almost all
Hey,
sold
what are you
out
guys'
within an
thoughts
hour.
on comedians that play on too big of theaters, like Kevin Hart? I think it's very.
I think it's too
annoying.
much.
It's too much.
And
Like,
I don't...
I think good for him.
No,
He worked-
yeah, no, great
he,
for him.
He
I'm
worked
not-
his ass off to get
Yeah,
there.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think it's fucking stupid to pay $300 to go see Kevin Hart at the Q Arena
when you're in the nosebleeds.
when you're in the
but-
fucking nosebleeds.
We-
I'll just wait for his goddamn special to come
We-
out and see
it's
those
gonna
fucking
it's gonna
things.
be the same thing.
We didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't pay $300 when we went to go see him.
So
How much did you pay?
I think it was like $50 a ticket.
Oh, you know how much I paid? $14 a month on Netflix.
I mean, it's fun to go out every once in a while.
I'm not saying that, but I would rather see a comic that's not as big, pay a little less money,
I
and still
agree.
laugh.
Because
So-
I think when Tom Segura and them come here, they play like hilarious.
$35
Yeah.
bucks.
I saw
Like the small clubs.
What's his name? Kevin from the league. Steve Renazizi.
Oh, did you?
yeah, saw him live.
Kevin.
I
who the
had him,
fuck's
I had him
the-
Tall
Sign-
guy.
Ginger?
No, not tall guy.
Brian.
Brian.
I had him sign my
Redhead.
my
Married.
DVD case
You.
of the league.
Did you know that guy faked being on the 9/11 towers?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He got
And-
called out hardcore on it too.
And you know what? He owned up to it.
Yeah, he
so
did.
I'll give it to him.
Yeah, no, I'll give him more power to him for like coming back to the business and being
And
able
he was
to
like, "Yeah,
get back
look,
into
I
it."
fucked up. I said some shit I shouldn't have said. I wasn't there. Blah blah. Blah. He admitted it. So
Yeah,
I'll
man.
give it to him. But he's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
As a stand-up comedian, funny as fuck.
Well, he's funny as fuck
and like
on
I
the
saw,
show too.
yeah. And I saw like Joey Diaz, all that.
Yeah,
I
you-
like.
Yo, you
the-
gotta you've seen a lot of great comics. You gotta tell me when you're
Ralphie
fucking going
May.
to these places.
You saw Ralphie May?
R.I.P.
So I mean, but like hilarities
or double
and,
XL R.I.P. Sorry.
B.I.G.
Hey, that was a
Steve
good one. That was
Funny.
a good one. Everybody just dismissed my really great fucking joke. God damn it.
Well, we wouldn't have dismissed it if it was funny.
Nick
Tom
thought it was
has a
funny.
point. Tom has a
I
point.
thought it was funny. It was wrong, but it was funny.
Rodney doesn't really know.
He prefers to be called Ruxin.
Ruxin.
I'm going home.
No, but like, so I agree with the like, I like the smaller venues, the smaller comics. Joey Diaz was fucking, I mean,
I know.
insanely
I
funny.
really want to see him. like, so
Ralphie
bad.
May, his last stand up, he was like working on material, and he was doing a Dora the Explorer thing, and it was like I think Christine was like 6 or 7. She was just out of the Dora phase, so we were fucking dying listening to that because it was so fucking true. But I mean, like a Joe Rogan or like God, if George Carlin was still alive, like I would definitely go see him
Yeah.
at fucking the Q.
I
You know
would
what I mean?
too.
Like,
George Carlin for sure.
yeah.
Well, and
I love George
like I
Carlin.
said, me and Nicole went and saw Kevin Hart, and it was like $50, and we had pretty decent seats.
Well, it's even one of those things. Like it's not a sporting event where you have to watch the ball being passed from one person to another. It's a guy that like you are mainly listening.
Yeah.
And if you can't listen from 100 feet away, well, there's probably problems that the money of the ticket's not going to fall.
Well, it's also in the facial expressions and the movements that they're making too.
Agreed, but they all have the big screens and all that. And,
Well,
that's
it's
true.
Like,
Theaters don't.
Say forever
Arenas
unclean.
do.
Go
Yeah.
forever unclean.
yeah,
What?
Go forever
he
unclean.
wants you to
I'm not gonna
say
do it.
forever unclean.
I'm not doing it.
Just do it.
No,
Yeah.
because you're gonna keep calling me Rodney.
I mean, you are forever now, Rodney Ruxin.
Ruxin of the podcast.
I cease talking.
So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I would rather see a comic like I saw Steve Byrne. Steve Byrne's a big fucking name, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I saw him at not Hilarities, the other one.
Laugh Factory?
No,
No, not
The Improv?
Improv. Yeah, and it was fucking hilarious. He was great, and we were 25 feet away from him.
Well,
And
like,
That's
we
awesome.
got those free for my birthday.
dude, I was so mad when you asked me if me and Nicole wanted to go see Joey Diaz with you
Yeah.
guys, and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm like, of course I have to be on call when he's gonna be here because now I can't fucking go. I was so mad because I've wanted to see him for a while.
He'll come back next year, like,
Dude, did you watch his thing on the Degenerates?
Not yet.
It's pretty good.
I've started watching it, but I haven't gotten to his portion of it yet.
His
But
is-
I mean, I watched so much shit of his Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz's
I've
new
watched a
skit
lot
on
of
that, it's
stuff
good.
on him, and watch his old stand up, and I listen to his podcast.
You know who
so
Joey
it's
Diaz is? Oh, he's a fucking funny
Joey
comedian. You should
Coco
look him up.
Diaz.
Yeah.
Do you know why I find him so funny? Because he always brings up the fact that he kidnapped the dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, yeah. And I asked the dude that I kidnapped why he's not coming to my shows anymore. And I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't be mad at him. I kidnapped him like fucking 30 years ago.
Did you ever listen to his podcast where the guy was actually like on his podcast?
No, I didn't listen to it.
That's a good one.
Is it?
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
it's
what
interesting.
episode is it?
Oh, if they're on episode,
Maybe I'll just watch it
let's
on
say
YouTube.
200. It was probably like episode 72. Like it
Oh,
was
okay.
a while
You
ago. It
could
was
probably just Google.
Yeah,
I
I'll
was
just
still
I'll just
working.
Google it.
I was still working at the hospital at that point.
I'll just
so
Google it.
It was at least a year and a half ago.
So, do you guys have you guys heard of the? I think it's called. I think it's actually called the game that the NFL wants you to forget about.
Yeah.
I know. I think both of you have watched the video, but Nick, you probably haven't, right? Mm-mm. So it's about the Browns. It's pretty interesting, actually.
Was it this year?
No, it was
No.
back. What was it? 2000,
17
2001.
years ago.
Yeah.
It was a bad game where well, I watched it. It's a video and it talks about like one of the worst games that they've seen in the NFL, and to the point where like the fans were throwing bottles
Oh yeah,
and shit.
that's
like,
why they don't give bottles at the stadium anymore.
So the Browns, the Browns had their first chance at a shot in the playoffs.
I remember that.
Finally,
A legit winning season.
after coming back from being sent off to Baltimore, and
I feel like they should send them back to Baltimore.
you shut your mouth right now.
They already have the Ravens. They don't want our shit team.
So.
Right.
So basically, there was a pass. It was 4th and 2nd with like a minute
should put
left.
that down.
It was 4th and 2nd with like a minute left in the game, and
I can hear it. That's all.
they get the first down on 4th and 2nd, and then the next play they go to spike the ball, and it looked like he faked it and then spiked it.
He did.
Yeah. So they thought that they were reviewing it for that, but they weren't. They were reviewing for the last play after they already
For the 4th down to 1st down?
Yeah, after they already ran that next play, which
You can't.
isn't allowed.
Right.
So then they ended up calling the game with 48 seconds left on the clock when they were getting close to red zone. And the Browns fans started losing their shit and started throwing stuff all over the field. Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
that's
it was
bad officiating.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
You know what they call that down in Peru?
Rigged?
No, they call it Trinchura Norte and Trinchura Sur.
What does that
That's
mean?
where you put the bad fans in it. Like that's the like those are they're the goalie sides. Like on one side of the stadium and the other side of the stadium, you pay $20 to get in, 20 soles to get in, but that's where the bad people go. And you know what they have there? Fences. And really, really fucking tall like things blocking them from being able to throw anything at the field.
Yeah,
We
but
call that the dog pound.
Yes.
Here.
Right.
you know what though? I guess I can understand where the fans were coming from with it. I mean, I've been a Browns fan, and they had a shit rep after everything that happened.
What's really funny is the fact that the owners, right? They were like, yeah, we had some a little bit crazy fans, but I don't disagree. They're like, we don't disagree with it. you
Well,
know?
it shouldn't have been called the way that it was called. And second off, like after Art Modell fucking moved the Browns, like I'm surprised that there wasn't fucking rioting in the streets when he moved the Browns, because before he moved them, like they were
a winning
halfway
team.
decent, and then they come back and it's just straight garbage. Like I grew up in the era where every year that I've
I
watched the
think
Browns,
you got that backwards. So they had like a 2 wins in that season before they left to Baltimore, from what I understand from the video that I was watching.
yeah, in that one season,
And then
their
when
last
they-
season here, and then he sold
when
them.
they were in Baltimore, they had like a 6-6, and then they came back.
No. The Baltimore Ravens were built off of the Browns initially because Art Modell sold them to Baltimore. Then,
We had to build our own new team.
somebody bought the rights to having the Browns, and brought the team back to Cleveland, and everybody loved them. But when the Browns left here, they were a decent team. They were an actual NFL team, not whatever the fuck we've had for the past 20 goddamn years.
And whatever the Ravens are now is what would have been in Cleveland.
I don't know if you could necessarily say that, because they have different coaching staff up there and stuff,
Right.
and it was a long time ago. But the reason why fans were so mad about it was because didn't they win a Super Bowl right after they went to Baltimore?
That second year.
Yeah. So the fans were fucking pissed because they had all our old players.
Which means the Browns could have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, which means Cleveland would have had a Super Bowl.
Yeah, man, taking the Browns to the
In
Super Bowl
98.
would have been a
Dude,
totally
you-
different.
The
You-
second year was pretty much the Browns winning the Super Bowl under a different guys.
Yeah, dude. Do you know that when Art Modell died, people were like cheering?
Bro.
Like it's fucked up, but people were cheering.
My wife, that guy has been dead for like 9 years.
I mean, he was a dickhead.
My
but
wife has still not forgiven that man. I'm like, he's dead. She's like, I hope he dies again. I'm dead serious. Like, she hates that fucking guy.
Well, you weren't here when all that was going on, were you?
Yeah, I wasn't in the country.
No, I was talking about
I
Angelo.
know you. I knew you were looking at him, but I
Yeah,
wanted
no,
to answer.
I was in Jersey. We were
Dude,
dealing with our own shit with the Jets. Like,
Fucking
look,
You mean
we
when
have our
you
own
were
fucking
jet,
props.
You were a jet
The-
all the way. Is that the one you were
the
talking
fact
about?
the fact that I'm still a Browns fan, considering I grew up only seeing them lose all the time. Like my dad grew up when they were a good team. They
Like in
were
your
going
80s.
to playoffs.
You're pretty much a Jets fan.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, hey.
Just watching shit all day.
What I wanted to mention before I need to move my phone.
Except the Jets lost to the Browns.
What I wanted to mention before, this is actually our Veterans Day episode. Okay, great. I guess I'll move on. You guys didn't say shit about it. All I'm saying is this is our Veterans Day episode. So
Thank you for your service.
Yes, we as the designated drinkers want to say thank you for the people that
Except
are
for
serving, that have
Angelo.
served. Angela, we know you served as a butthole.
That's a butthole.
We know
Yeah.
that you mostly
As a
serviced.
glory hole. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Thank
you
you.
mostly serviced a lot of penises.
Thank you. I did.
Dude,
We know you did.
Okay, so I just remembered something, and maybe I'm putting you on the spot about this.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you guys the most awkward moment I ever had with Angelo. Like very
It's
awkward.
actually Veterans Day right now.
So-
So happy Veterans Day,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you.
Happy Veterans Day.
There was like 4 years
got a
ago
present for you.
or 3 years ago when I had first started back up at jiu-jitsu, and we were hanging out doing our Sunday circle shit at the sewing circle on Sundays.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out or whatever, and as we were all leaving, I got in my car and I looked at Angelo and I said, "Hey, you're a veteran, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, thank you for your service." And he looked at me with the weirdest fucking face. He's like, "Okay, yeah, all right. I guess see you later." I don't know. All right, cool, man. And then he got in his car, and I was like, that was really awkward, man. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, maybe I shouldn't say that. I was like, I have no idea. I was so confused because I was like, this is I'm supposed to say that. Ed taught me. He's like, you're supposed to respect the people, and you're supposed to say thank you when it comes to the people that have done the time. So I was so fucking like it literally gave me an existential crisis for like half a second. I was like, oh well.
Some guys it's awkward for though.
Oh yeah, totally. I totally get that.
Well, so like
Do you remember that at all, or no?
I don't remember that.
It was really
But-
funny to me now.
But it's like, you know, like for some of us, like I'm like, you know, when people are like, "Oh, thank you for your service," I'm like, for fucking what? I didn't fucking do anything. The fuck are
I
you
got
thanking
you.
me for? I didn't do anything. Like, there's nothing that you need to thank me for. I did my job, and that's basically it. So what is this? Like, and it was even like the same way while we were in. You know, it was like you'd walk around, like, obviously, you know, early on when you had to wear your uniform everywhere and all that shit just because you thought you were fucking cool.
But how are you supposed to respond to that? Like you're welcome.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
and so like, and it's funny because like there's a difference between like in so like in different circles, like you know, there's like the veterans that are, you know, oh, like, boom, thank me for my service. It's like, whatever, go fuck yourself. Like, you know, as veterans, we go, oh, yeah, thank you for your cervix. You know what I mean? So that's like, that's our joke with veterans that are all like, you know, oh, no, I did this. Like, who gives a fuck? You signed up, bro. You did exactly what you were fucking paid to do. Quit being a bitch about it, you know? And generally, it's the more guys that didn't do much that are like that. The guys that have done stuff, and I didn't. But the guys that have been through some real shit, some real fucking battles,
Dude, I feel like Angelo's trying to cover up the fact that he did shit while he was in the military. He's like, the guys that didn't do anything normally want to be thanked for it, but the guys that didn't do, I didn't do anything though. I never did anything.
I am
No,
neither
so-
confirming nor denying any allegations that have been made in the past 10 minutes.
I was
about
never
my
in
service.
Quebecistan.
The cool thing is, like, it took a while to get here, but, like, you know, I realized, like, from having friends that have done some, like, I mean, some real fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like, our buddy that we're gonna go train with tomorrow. Like, if you look up his division and the invasions that they had, the stuff that they went through, like, they went through some fucking shit.
Hoy's kid was telling me that, you know,
oh boy,
he went to their Veterans Day thing that they did for that school, and the teacher went, "Okay, everybody that served in Afghanistan, if they could please stand up," or like whatever. And then he went, "You need to go correct." To Hoy, he's like, "You need to go correct her. That's not Afghanistan. It's
The thing was, she said anybody that has been in the Afghani war, and he just sat there and he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I was never in an Afghani war. I'm not going up there." And then he literally made old boy go, "No, go up there," and called the operation what it was. Operation Enduring Freedom. And he went up and I know it was probably awkward as fuck for Chris, but he's like, "Hey, listen, you're calling it the wrong thing. You need to call it Operation Enduring Freedom." And she goes, "Any veterans of," and like she had a real awkward look, and she's like, "Enduring Freedom?" And it wasn't just him; it was 3 other guys besides him that stood up and go, "Okay, now we'll go up," because this is a thing. Like, these guys fought in this battle, they fought in this war, and there's a medal that's pinned on their chest, and it has a certain verbiage on it, and that means something. Mm-hmm. If you haven't fought in this and you haven't bled and had people that died because of this, you don't know what the fuck it means. And to those guys, it's very important that you understand not only the war that they fought, the sacrifices that they made, and that you know what the conflict was called. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what it's called, you don't respect it enough, and they're not going to acknowledge you. I get that. I mean, not from a been there time frame, but
No, I can understand that too.
I did have, and it'll sound fucked up the way I'm about to say this, but it's the best way that I know how to say it. I've had the privilege of seeing people come back from Enduring Freedom, Iraqi freedom, and I've seen what people have gone through, and I've been there to understand what happens post-war. I wasn't there to treat them during war. I wasn't there to treat them in their hour of need when they got shot and all that. It's a regret that I have, but it's something that, you know what, fuck it. I made a decision, and this is what it is. But I saw the after effect of it, and yeah. I think I put this in the podcast that I wanted to put out there. The one thing that I wanted to talk about Veterans Day is, so we had a transport from where I was stationed to Virginia. It's about a 2-hour trip, and we had this young Marine that we had to transport to a VA hospital in Virginia from Maryland. It's about like I said, a 2-hour trip, and we go up there, from the ER. I was part of, we had in the ER, we had several different jobs. We did the neonatal intensive care, rapid response for the hospital, and we also transported people that needed to go to other places from the hospital. And we had a lot of guys that would come in from Germany and stuff like that. They would basically get blown up in war, get patched up enough to get sent to the U.S., and they would come to Bethesda. Mostly Marines. Army had Walter Reed that was very close by. Now that hospital is the central one for the area, so the Walter Reed Military Medical. But at the time, it was the Naval Medical Center. So me and one of my buddies, we go up and we see this kid, 19 years old, and he's missing both legs, one above the knee, one below the knee. He's an amputee. Left arm is blown off. He's above the elbow amputee. His right hand still works. He's pretty much blind, and he has a traumatic brain injury. Guy's pretty much fucked for the rest of his life. 19 years old. We have to transport him to Virginia, and so we're going down. My buddy's driving, so I'm in the back, dealing with the patient. And the worst part, like, I'm talking to this guy the whole time. I'm getting his story, where he was, how he got hit with an IED and all that stuff. And the worst part is he had to pee. Well, he only has one kind of functioning limb to pee with. And his mom, despite me going, ma'am, I got this. Like, I'll do that. His mom had to hold a urinal for him at 19 years old. And he had to pee. Peed into the urinal. Mom takes it, caps it, puts it on the shelf. But to her, that's no thing. She's taking care of her baby. To me, I look at a 19-year-old. This guy can't drink. He could not literally drink a beer legally in the U.S. Here he has 3 of his limbs blown off from an IED. He was a fucking Marine. He was a bad motherfucker, right? Anybody gets to that boot camp, it's a bad motherfucker, right? Even there's extenuating circumstances and all that. But he's a bad bitch. This guy, for the rest of his life, will be that. Pretty much deaf, dumb, and blind. No use of his limbs. That's what he is. That's what he is for the rest of his life. Guess he's going to get a check for the rest of his life from being 100% disabled. Who gives a shit? You know what he can do with that money? Fucking nothing. Now he can have a drink if somebody will buy it for him. Go to the store and get it for him. Pretty much feed it to him, open it to him because he doesn't have 2 hands to open it. So, all right. Sorry.
Well, no.
My bad.
No.
I'm
That's.
sorry.
I think that brings up a very good point of what we don't get to see, right? As a people that get to live with those freedoms, a lot of people don't understand what it means to have them, right? We take that for granted, and that's a really good point, and that's what this day is about, right? It's not about having a holiday off. It's not about like hanging out. It's about giving the respect where respect is due. And I think sometimes we forget about the people that are really making those sacrifices. Not the people up in the fucking top, nobody in the government, but the people that are actually signing up, doing it because they want to keep you free, right? So I think it's a good way to look at it. And I appreciate you telling us that.
So, all right, Joe. I mean, you can cut that out because it was pretty dark, and
I don't think you should.
I don't. Yeah, but I don't like going there. My daughter asked me the other day, and she had to write a paragraph or a couple paragraphs for Veterans Day. And I showed her the beach scene to Normandy from Saving Private Ryan. Mm. And I told her, I said, look, these are people that are anywhere between 17 and 40. Running into this beach, they all know they're going to die. They see their buddies dying in front of them, but they continue to push on. Because ultimately, this is what it is to serve. This is what it is to be of service to your country. You go there knowing that you're going to die. And if you don't, fucking hip, hip, hooray. Mm-hmm. Like, you get to be that fortunate motherfucker that has bad dreams for the rest of your life.
But you kind of die on the inside a little bit from everything that you see.
Yeah. So this is what it is. And, she started crying. And I thought to myself for a minute, I was like, did I bad parenting move?
No.
Well, maybe, like, she's 10. Maybe she didn't need to see that at that point. But I also think that, you know what? If you're going to ask somebody, and, I made it a point to tell her, like, look, your mother, your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, and your great-great-grandfather have all served in the military. This is a legacy that you have, and you're lucky to have it, because I never had that. Mm. So, this is what being a veteran is. This is the nightmares. This is the blown-up people. This is the wall of veterans that you see. This is what this is. And I told her very simply. The best explanation that I've ever seen was a veteran is someone who at one point wrote a blank check to the United States of America for an amount up to and including their life. That is a veteran. There are people that have cashed that check in, and that's why we have Memorial Day. There are people that paid partial payment because they are still here, but they're not the same. Mm-hmm. They paid a sacrifice. That's what it is. And you know what? you do it, you live on, you hopefully make this country better, not only by your service to the country, but by continuing to be a member of the society in whatever way you choose to do. But
just so you know, I don't think that he should cut that out because that was definitely 100%
Yeah,
from the bottom
I'll
of the
talk
heart.
to you about it after
yeah.
the podcast. and that can be your choice.
you don't have to. But that kind of stuff, and it fucks me up because I don't remember the kid's name.
It's stuff that
man.
people need to hear though,
I don't
because they don't get to see it from your guys' eyes. This is the thing.
I don't remember the kid's name.
Angela,
And
how long ago was it?
it was 10 years ago, at least. But it's just one of those things like...
Angela, it comes with age. You're an old guy.
You're getting dementia.
that kid
God, I'm
will
sorry I
never
needed to.
know the impact that he had on me. I never, like I said, I didn't. As far as a warrior goes, I didn't see shit. I don't know. I don't know anything about war. I don't know anything about combat. What I do know is what happens when these fuckers come home, and I think that's where I really can go, okay, I didn't save your life then, but here's what I did for you when you got home. And that's my mission, is to continue that. You know, is that's why we do the veterans jiu-jitsu. And, you know, I'm in talks with people about doing other veteran programs right now.
That's great.
But
I think-
this is what I
Dude, if
want
you
to
need
do.
help
Like,
with anything with it, just let us know. Like,
Yeah, we'll do anything you
Well,
need, man.
I'm definitely down
Obviously.
to help with it.
obviously, I know I can always, but like this is my thing. Is like don't take this the wrong way. I bitched out, right? Like, so I said, and this was one of my supervisors, my LPO. I was his ALPO, his assistant petty officer. He was my lead petty officer. He was in the Battle of Fallujah, and he had some really bad times. And when it came time to me, we just had Christine. He goes, so what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm thinking about re-enlisting, blah, blah. He goes, let's talk. And he talked to me, and he said, you know, here's what I deal with on a nightly basis. You want that? No. He's like, get out. Just get out. Get out. Be a father. Be a husband. Be a citizen. Do what you can do without what I have to deal with. And that was powerful, because you know what? I don't have PTSD. I don't have those dreams. I have thoughts of guys that I served with. I have thoughts of guys that I knew that I lost. I have thoughts of shit that is still happening right now that I know I could fucking 100% help. I could die in doing it, but I know there might be one or two guys that, you know, their parents never had to get that letter because I was there to save them. I know that. I was a good fucking corpsman. I know that. But at the same time, my daughter might never be the same. She might have never seen her father again.
You know,
I may have never had Caitlin because I chose to put
sleep with dudes.
my duty to my country over my... I don't even know what he just said.
He
What
said
did he say?
sleep with dudes. You chose to, and you paused, and he said sleep with dudes.
You said I may never have had Caitlyn
Oh,
because I chose to, and I said sleep with dudes.
Okay, so you don't come on beards. Whatever. That's your prerogative.
No, you know what though? I think what you're dealing with, like a lot of guys deal with that because my uncle, my uncle's father was in Korea. Okay.
Yeah.
And when it came time for him to re-enlist, he didn't because he had my uncle. And the reason why he didn't was pretty much exactly what you're saying. And he used to talk about all the time. Well, he was in a little bit of a different situation because, like, almost all of his platoon died. But, you know, the whole, every time that he ever talked about it, like, the only time he ever talked about it was if I went over there and I re-enlisted, then they might be alive. And I'm not saying that you can't think like that, but you're making it hard on yourself because you don't know what would have happened.
But
if
you also
did,
have to think
you know?
about the fact that to me at least, it seems that your person that talked to you, I'm sorry, I don't remember their name, but
I didn't say his name.
yeah, well, but you mentioned that he kind of convinced you, Angela. You have to think about the fact that maybe to him he saved you, maybe you helped him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Because of the fact that you allowed him the second to just talk to you about how he feels, and maybe he feels that he helped you more than you could have helped him.
Yeah. And that guy, he doesn't know the impact that he's had on my life. And even though I've sent him messages on Facebook like, dude, you don't know what you did for me.
Right.
And he goes, no, I do. That's the point. I do know. That's why I told you what I told you.
Right.
So it's just one of those things. It's called, I think in the vet community, they call it survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here.
That's what my uncle...
I'm here, and I haven't dealt with the shit that my buddies have dealt with. I don't have that nightmare. I don't have the tinnitus. I can go to sleep at night, and I'm just fine.
And not everybody has to in order to have done something in the military, though.
But when you talk to a military person, more often than not, it's like, I could have done more. I could have been there. I could have helped this. I could have changed this. I could have blah, 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 blah. And even the guys that were there, I could have made this one move differently, and I could have saved 5 people.
Angelo,
or I couldn't have not.
You did do more, though. You're being a father to your kids. Like, you're gonna be around for them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's one of those things that, like, I get to enjoy that, and I don't take advantage of what I get to enjoy.
I'm not
versus what the other people have or don't have. So
I'm not gonna say that I understand, because I don't. But I feel like I get where you're coming from with it, and I mean, it's just one of those things, man. Like, I know that it's coming from somebody who didn't serve, but I mean, the more you dwell on that, the more it's going to eat you up on the inside.
It's just one of those things that's always going to eat us up. And like, you were talking about your stepdad.
Oh yeah, man.
When he was watching something about the military.
Oh, dude, to this day I think about that day.
Bro, it is something that we never, ever, ever forget. We do not take advantage of. Like, it's just like one of those things. Like,
Well, if you ever want to talk, like, we're here.
Yeah, man.
bro, as much as I love you guys and all that, like, you are my escape from it. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's not 365. Like, I don't have PTSD where I'm constantly in this mind frame. But these times of years are harder.
Right.
Where I'm going, okay, like, one of my good buddies, we're going to go training with him tomorrow. The shit that this guy has done, the repercussions that he feels on a daily basis because of the service that he felt for 4 years. I served 6. He served 4. Comparatively, my service to his is he served 40. I served about 1. It's luck of the draw. You know what I mean? When it comes to the military, you don't get to choose. Like, they're not like, hey, you want to do this? They're like, no, here's where you're going, and that's basically where we need you. It's luck of the draw. You could be the biggest fucking piece of shit and get thrown into fucking Ramadi, be the best motherfucker in the world, and get sent to South Carolina. It's just the Navy doesn't give a fuck, or the military in general. They don't give a fuck who you are. You're a number. Hey, number 2, you go here. Number 3, you go there. That's it.
Yeah.
So with that, I like, go ahead, Carla.
Oh no, go ahead.
I just, like, when we were talking about Rocco before and talking about promoting his show and all that, he had a really good speech that helped me when I was in some dark times of, the military was a chapter of my life. Mm-hmm. That book is still being written. That was just a chapter. Because for the longest time, I defined myself as this corpsman. I defined myself as this sailor. And I got out and realized that nobody gave a fuck what I did.
Well, I think
who I was.
I think that Nicole's brother had an issue with that, too, when he got home. Because he had no idea what to do when he got home. And it took him about, 3 or 4 years to finally find something that he was solid with getting into.
That is the hardest part about getting out, whether you've been in combat or not, or you've been, just military in general. Whether you've done shit or you've done the most heroic shit in your life. You know how many motherfuckers in the civilian world care about a Silver Star? Zero many. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody knows what a Silver Star does. Nobody cares why you got that Navy Cross with Valor. Obviously I never got one of those. Let's not put that out there. But it's just one of those things. Like, I got a Navy.
That's on record.
Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal. right, for what I did at Bethesda. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Nobody even knows what it is.
Yeah, but think of all the good that you're doing in Bolivia.
And that's why I play Ghost Recon.
Hey, I think
I'm trying to save the world from drug cartels with a Bolivian.
That's me. Anyways, with that, I want to say thank you very much for joining the Designated Drinkers podcast. My name is Carlo.
Angelo.
Nick.
Tom,
We are the Designated Drinkers.
keep on drinking.
And since this is going to become a second episode, come back.
They told me they can't wait. I want to meet my mouth. They'll get me through the evening now, baby, there's no doubt. You know they love to party. They want to twist and shout. I've got 6 friends in the fridge to help me out.
This has been a Fat Lowell's Radio production. To hear more shows like this, go to soundcloud.com/FatLowellsRadio.